Hey guys, it's Lou here at the Mythic race 2026. Just got done running this brutal course. Ton of fun. What else am I gonna say? Stay tuned after this race. I'm gonna share all my thoughts all about it. All right, let's see how this works. If this works right. So that's where you come in, right where that car's coming in over there. Plenty of parking right here. Plenty of parking, as you can see. If you get here early, I'm in that car right there, so I'm early. Then a couple vendors, and then check-in is right through there. Just give them your name, and give you your stuff. But it's early. The 5 a.m. the 5-hour endurance guys just took off that way. Start line is right here. Let's see how it goes. guys, thanks for sticking around and watching Mythic Race 2026 down in Sikeston, Missouri. This is the 5th year of this race, and man, it just keeps getting better every time I go to it. This is only my 2nd time going, and I'm glad I did. First off, if you notice from my previous years of running races, I would always include the check-in and the parking, all that at the end of this. This time I decided to add at the beginning so you guys can get an actual visual of what's going on. Let me know if what you thought about that, if it helps you a little bit more, or if I just keep talking at the very end, let me know. But I want to dive right into this race, man. This race is so much fun. But let's get the other stuff out of the way first before I give you my overall thoughts. Like I said a second ago, this is the 5th year of this race, and they have 3 different race formats to choose from, so you can choose whichever one you want to get into. You've got the 5K Open, which is, you show up later on, and it's an open race, which means that you do all the obstacles or you skip the ones that you don't want to do without any penalty of any kind. You have the 5K competitive race, which is what I did, which is one, you're competing against the clock, and it is a 4-band system, mandatory completion of the obstacles. Now, what that means is that you can attempt any obstacle you fail multiple times, but if you ultimately decide, you know what, I'm just not going to get it this time, and then they have to cut one of your 4 bands. And that's how you get placed at the very end of the race, is your time as well as how many bands you have left. And then they have the 5-hour endurance race, which is get as many laps in as you can in 5 hours. Now that one's a lot. I wouldn't say it's you just got to keep going. There was a bunch of people that ran it, and I think one guy who won it overall, he did 4 laps. So that's about, a 20K race. So, or 21 when you add the extra little bits and pieces throughout the whole race. So that was really cool that watching that dude just keep going and going and going. That's a good race to do. I might do it next year because I didn't realize that they get a special medal for that one. And I saw the medal and I was just thinking to myself, man, I should have done the 5-hour endurance because I want that medal. As far as the terrain go, as you saw, it's not technical at any point. It's relatively flat. There's no elevation gain or anything like that. The only thing that the terrain has, you've got your little ravines, you got your little divots and whatnot. But overall, there's no real technical aspect to this race that you have to have really good footing for anything. Now, I say that, but as usual, every time I go to a race, I always somehow manage to find the only hole on the entire course. And sure enough, I did this time, and I twisted my ankle pretty good. I think 1.5 miles into the race, if I remember correctly. And I had to walk for a little portion of it just to let the adrenaline calm down a little bit, and just because that ankle was throbbing until where I could just endure the pain, I just, took off running again. So this is a very good race to get into if you've always thought about getting into OCR, but you get intimidated by what you see online. This race is very chill. It's, they're very welcoming, and, the obstacles are tough, but yeah, a lot of people get worried about the terrain as well, and the terrain is not a big deal in this one. Speaking of obstacles, what makes the Mythic race so much fun is that they've got unique obstacles that are specific to Mythic, and also because of Race Ready obstacles, man. When those dudes are in town, the obstacles that Aaron and Dana and company are going to put together, they're going to be brutal, and they're just meant to just beat you up. And sure enough, there was no exception on this race. What makes this race really fun also is that you've got your wooded area race where the spectators can't get back to because they wouldn't be able to get back to the main grassy area where a lot of the big rigs were. But that's typical. On the back end, you got your carries, you've got your hurdles, and nothing that stands out. But it's always when you get to the open grassy area where you see those rigs tall and low to just beat you up. And as it were, I did have to give up 3 of my bands because some of those things were just beating me up. And then I just started to develop some nasty tendonitis in this elbow that it was just killing this grip. So as the day was wearing on, that grip got a little bit weaker and weaker till I started falling off all over the place. But it is what it is. But of course, we got to talk about the swag, which is always the fun stuff. And it's pretty cool when you check in because they give you this bag right here. It's this little knapsack here. Just throw your stuff in. We open it. if there's something really cool about Mythic Race that they get overlooked a lot is they put a lot of thought into everything, man. I mean, they give you a water bottle, and it's just not just hey, here's a free water bottle. They brand their stuff right there. Look at that. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that in look at that. 24 ounces. Really stinking cool. Love it. The shirt. The shirt is cool. I love what they did with the shirt this year. It's one, it ain't black. It is, what is this, yellow? Yeah, like a yellow. But I love what they did this year. You can see this right here. Mythic Race. Hopefully you can see that. Well, if you look closely, went with this pixelated look on it. So it's little retro video game, Mario Kart, or even if you want to go with the whole Minecraft thing, if that's your deal. It's really cool because I like what it says right there. It's so you can see it says start game, options, and quit is marked off because there's no such thing as quitting at the Mythic Race. But I like it. And then of course the backside, it's got all of the sponsors for this race that help put this awesome race on, and all this race goes to charity for different causes that they're really big on over there. But really comfortable shirt, cotton, you know. But two things that I did not show you on the video yet. One is the cool medal right there. I like the way it is. Got the whole little banner thing going on right there. And of course, they get the lanyard is the cool, got their sword there, and the Mythic Race. Oh man, wrong side. Sorry. Mythic Race right there. If you can see that one. Oh man, the camera's all jacked, or it's me jacked. There you go. So really cool medal. Really cool. But one thing I did not show on that video, I should have put it on there, but I didn't, is your boy actually placed. That's right. I got a podium this time, which I was very surprised by after losing 3 bands and, you know, finishing where I finished time-wise. But when I was hanging out, just cooling off, the one that was handling all the times, they said, Louis, don't you leave because you got second. I'm like, what? And your boy pulled off second place. Now, when I first saw this, I was like, oh man, it looks very similar to the medal they give to everyone. And yeah, you kind of look at them, but this is actually a silver one, because when you look at the finishes on the back, whoops, this is more muted, and this one's way shiny, as you can tell right here. You can see my camera through there. How cool is that? But yeah, my first finisher medal where I actually place in my age group, second place. Very proud of it. I was surprised. Ironically, though, when I was driving up there, I said to myself that how cool would it be if I could actually start placing in my age group at these races, because I've always gotten close in a lot of my races. It's always been I'm like 2 or 3 people away from, you know, making a podium. And so this time around, I made sure I didn't walk anywhere. And if I was going, even if the obstacle was relatively close, I was jogging to it to keep going. And so, you know, I'm proud of it. You know, it's my first one. Yay. Pat on the back. Good stuff. As far as my overall thoughts on the Mythic Race is, man, this race is very underappreciated. This is a hidden gem in Missouri, in the Midwest, when it comes to OCR races. It needs to get out there more. One, I didn't even realize that it's already been 5 years that this race has been around, because at the end, when they were giving everyone awards and medals, they actually had a special 5-year award for a handful of people that had been to every single race. And I didn't get a picture of it, but their medal was freaking cool too. So I'm like, man, I'll never be able to get that medal because it's a special commemorative medal. But you know, that's what happens. But like I said, you know, this race is really underappreciated, and they need to get themselves out more, because this is a very great race that not only beginners can get into it, but the competitive high-end people that compete at the high level show up to this race. They show support for the local OCR scene. And the only thing I could think that the reason why this race doesn't draw more people is of where it's located. Like I said, it's in Sikeston, Missouri. And if you don't know where Sikeston is and you pull it up on a map, it's so close to Illinois, Kentucky, and Tennessee. It's right there at the very, very end,
which I didn't realize that it was that close, which is strange because I had been there before, but I guess I just didn't pay attention the first time 2 years ago when I went. So maybe because it's so out there by itself, man, I'm telling you, if this race was to get more attention, this thing could draw a lot of runners. So if you've ever thought about doing the Mythic race, you need to quit blowing off and register for it. They just opened up registration for next year in April, and your boy's going to sign up for it because part of me wants that 5 hour endurance medal. But you know, I've got to go defend my second place age division medal, so I got to go do that as well. If you are new to this channel and you like my recap of this video, do me a favor. Doesn't cost you anything, helps me out quite a bit. Hit that subscribe button because I cover all kinds of OCR races that I attend. I do the full video as well as my overall thoughts and ideas for you to draw upon if you ever thought about entering a specific race. So until next time, go check out my other videos. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. But more importantly, it's the start of the race season, so I'm looking forward to my next one. As above all, keep training, guys.